Gambit, Life is a Gamble. Chapter 3. Nostalgia. Not being judgmental, but have you ever seen a drunk person in the morning time? Imagine this crazy chain of events. Gambit stopped at a cafe not realizing what's installed for him. The man sitting next to him talking loud, giving the waiter a hard time.
Mister, can you make your order? I have more customers to help.
To divert the attention, the waiter looked over at Gambit.
I see someone had one crazy night.
Gambit visioned Sabretooth tackling him, swinging their fist and rolling in the dirt. The waiter asked,
How did you get those scratches across your neck?
Still feeling the pain when Sabretooth kicked him into the plane.
I'm no doctor, but I think you need to get that looked at. Did something big slashed you?
As the drunk man was demonstrating what he thought happened, the movement of motion triggered Gambit into a vision. Slap. Sabretooth claws ripped and griped in his flesh. Gambit shook his head, thunderbolt escaping the memory.
Excuse me, mister, was you in a car accident?
No, I was attacked by a wild animal.
What kind of animal?
A saber-tooth.
No way.
The drunk man waving his cup in the air.
Waiter, ain't that extinct?
Bell rings.
I don't know about that, but this I do know. Your food ready.
Thank you, miss. Oh yum. This some good jambalaya, reminds me of home. You have to tell me who cooked this?
My mum.
She surely knows how to cook. Where y'all from?
Baton Rouge. We moved down here to open up our cafe.
Gambit grabbed her hands, looked deeply in her eyes.
I miss home and all of the beautiful things that remind me of home.
Stop thief.
Gambit looked shocked, pulled his hands back and looked around.
Who me?
No, not you. The girl just ran out and didn't pay.
Gambit looks back, seeing the door closing, but didn't get a good look at her.
Allow me.
He paid for their food and walked out the door. The girl ran down an alleyway slipcover to find her hidden in a dumpster.
Come out wherever you are. Your food paid for, you don't have to hide. Let's talk.
Gambit seen the dumpster open, pulled out his bow staff, started hitting the walls, then he knocked the top down.
Well, looks like you not here.
Gambit started walking away, then he heard a scream from the dumpster.
I knew you would see things my way.
He opens the top to see she was shaking and crying.
Why are you crying?
She was claustrophobic and scared, transformed into an amnesiac child who had turned to theft as a means to survive. Gambit asks her,
What's your name?
She slowly stops shaking.
My name Monroe.
Well, Morrow.
No. It's Monroe.
Well, Monroe, can I help you out of the dumpster? Now where's your family?
I don't know. I ran away when I started having nightmares.
When did you start having this dream?
After Professor Charles Xavier went on his trip. He is the one person that I know can help me from my nightmares. It's been hard for me to sleep because I'm scared of him.
Look baby, Freddy Krueger isn't real, and I can promise you that.
It's not no dumbass man in a movie I'm scared of. What I see is real. He tells me evil things.
Gambit looks at the girl.
I remember you from somewhere, I just can't put my finger on it.
Helping Monroe out of the dumpster when a cat jumped at a rat under the building, the precise strike attack reminded him, when Sabretooth held him on his back saying,
There is no fire to blow up under us this time.
Not like the cat did the rat. Gambit escapes, crashing Sabretooth kneecaps with his bow and elbowed him, closing and swelling his eyes, screaming in rage, repeatedly punching. Holding on for dear life, Gambit pushed him down while they both fall to the ground, kicking and stumping Sabretooth's face till he seen him unconscious. Crack. The sound of neck breaking immediately pulled Gambit out of the vision, seeing a profound glare of the cat under the building ripping the rat's head off in glory.
I know you, the girl is safe. Come with me, I know someone that can help, she specializes in dreams.
Gambit and Monroe walked in the door.
Come here, my child.
Monroe was skeptical, so she stood behind Gambit.
I'm not going to bite you.
Then the lady turned around and looked at Gambit.
But you, I will bite.
Gambit said.
Maybe next time, right now I need to help a friend.
A surprised look.
You must be very special because Gambit doesn't have friends, especially ones he put before himself. Come here baby, sit down. Gambit selfish and inconsiderate. Why he wanna know? Or better yet, why he would help out a friend for something that's not beneficial to himself.
She put her hands on Monroe's head.
Close your eyes, let's see and find out. What's so damn special about the dreams you are having?
Waves of light focus across floating white noises. Deteriorating objects fizzle into a formation that begin framing concentrated energy into physical objects.
Inside her head,
as she turned around to look at all the beauty. A dark, foul cloud fuel of antimatter floating toward her direction. A hand of smoke reaches out. She let Monroe go. The lady's heart was racing.
That isn't a dream this child is having. It's a soul without a body trying to manifest itself into existence. We have to desecrate it now. It's absorbing Monroe's energy by overstimulating her receptors of fear. I heard stories of this entity. It's the malevolent psionic entity known as the Shadow King.
Gambit asks.
What can we do?
The lady took one hand off Monroe's head and pinched Gambit's nostrils, covering his mouth with the palm of her hand.
You will have to run out of breath. This will drain me, so destroy him quickly.
Gambit pulled out his staff, slamming it down, making a sonic wave, effectively announcing his presence.
I have a proposition for you.
Immersing out of the deep infinite darkness, yellowy eyes with a foggy shadow appeared. The sound of loud growling thunder shook around him.
She's mine, leave now.
Gambit snapped his fingers. Instantly the scenery became a casino. Cards are shuffled, bells ringing, dice rattling and rolling.
Snake eyes.
The dealer looked at Gambit.
Place all bets.
The dealer turned around sarcastically.
Only players can see this pot, and you miss, not a player.
Momentarily it became completely silent. Sap. A tidal wave of white energy blasted, knocking the lady out of the vision, leaving Gambit and Monroe defenseless. When the lady opened her eyes, she seen them standing over her.
Gambit, did it work? Did it really work?
Yes, I suppose I have more than one trick up my sleeve. And trust me, you don't want to know what happened.
A week later, Gambit and Monroe waited at the airport for the professor's arrival. On the ride home, Monroe told the professor how Gambit helped. She tried to sponsor Remy's admission into the X-Men. On the arrival to the X-Mansion, the professor told Storm, walking in the door.
I would like to talk to Gambit alone. This is for the safety of the students inside the Institute.
Gambit standing at the front door.
Before I welcome you onto the premieres.
The professor raised 2 fingers to his head, placing them on his temple, looked directly into Gambit's eyes with no indication of breathing. Gambit still heard the professor's voice.
Do you have any alternate objectives that I need to know about?
No.
Well, good. So you wouldn't mind if I?
Before the professor could say, Gambit responded.
How deep are you trying to explore in my mind, because you may not like what you see?
It's not your past, I'm interested in, it's your intentions.
The professor entered Gambit's mind, to find wall barriers that limit access to most of his memories.
Why you intend on keeping secrets?
The professor reached to touch the wall. A spark of pure fire melted and incinerated the memory barrier. A tidal wave of negative memories of betrayal overwhelms the professor.
How can we trust you?
Stop probing so deep, you seen what my intentions are. Now stop.
Boom. Jean stumbled into the room. That was the perfect distraction, excusing Gambit to run over to help.
Are you okay?
Thank you. It's just my powers is becoming harder to control. I'm sorry if I interrupted you and the professor. I need a drink of water.
Allow me.
No. I can get it. Besides, I don't want to interrupt you and the professor. I'm okay, but thanks.
Backing out the door with her hand held over her face, Jean stumbled into the kitchen holding the refrigerator door.
Is something wrong, Jean?
Bobby. That man Storm brings here can't be trusted. I walked in on the professor reading his mind. I have seen a small glimpse of the things the professor saw. None of them was good.
Bobby said.
Where's Rogue?
Bobby. She might buy into his tricks of deception. Go find her.
At the same time, Rogue was offering Gambit a tour around the mansion.
Don't mind the professor. His only concern is the student safety. You'll be amazed how many try to enter the school. With misinformation is why trust is very important on students. For most of all, he's been a huge change in my life. I too did some horrible things, may have destroyed people's lives, trusted people who only have bad intentions for me. I understand betrayal and how family will hold that against you.
Gambit dropped his head.
The city folks do not understand us. Look how they talk so disrespectful and arrogant. It's no charisma with them. It's all about force. You're the only one that make me feel welcome.
Bobby walked into the room.
Rogue, come here. Right now.
Gambit looked at Bobby with a sour look on his face.
That's not the way you talk to a lady.
Rogue said.
It was nice to meet you, but I have to go.
Then she went with Bobby, looked back and smiled. Bobby slammed the door.
He's not to be trusted. Jean said he's bad news.
How? Didn't he help Storm when we couldn't find her?
Rogue rolled her eyes.
I think you mad because he has swag.
Whatever.
The professor said to Gambit.
Trust is a big thing for us.
Well, Professor, from my experience I only trust that people do not trust.
You have a lot to learn, my student. You could assist me in ways the X-Men can't. Can I trust you with that?
Maybe.
The professor took a chance and let Gambit stay. Weeks passed by with nothing outside the ordinary, until one day Gambit was fishing under a tree, off to himself away from disrespectful, arrogant, aggressive people that clearly didn't like him. Rogue walks past Gambit and stood by the water.
It's been inspirational getting to know individuals that like sharing good vibes with me. You would be amazed how many people start off with no signs of being jealous, and end up full of jealousy.
A fish hit Gambit's hook as he was responding to her.
People tend to show their true colors, we just neglect to see them.
Gambit fighting to get the fish out the water.
You don't have to be the professor to see a person's attention, and what they attend to do.
Pulled the fish out. As ice freezes over the water, leaving the fish head halfway stuck flash frozen under the ice. The carbonated ice popped his fishing line. Out of frustration, Gambit threw the fishing pole on the ground. Bloom. Exploding kinetic energy liquefying cracks throughout the ice.
Why do you intend on disturbing me in my place of peace?
Bobby stood in front of Gambit face to face. Bobby's powers. Manipulating the symbol each molecule of water particle contains, instantly lowering the temperature, freezing the chemical of two atoms of hydrogen joined to a single atom of oxygen. His hands started freezing from the fingertips up, till it covered his arm in sharp ice blocks.
Clearly you can see nobody wants you here. You cannot be trusted.
Bobby appeared mad by noticing Rogue getting closer to Gambit.
Rogue, why do you insist on ignoring and defining me?
Embarrassed and irritated, Rogue said to Gambit,
Can you please take me away from here?
Gambit and Bobby were at a standoff. The sky started to become dark, when a lightning bolt struck between them. Hearing the loud thunder sound as the electricity bounces off the ground, to see storm floating over them.
I command you to stop. Now. Or I will unleash the full force of a Category 5 hurricane.
Gambit looked at Rogue.
It's not worth it, you're right. Let's get out of here.
The next day a man appeared, looking for the professor's help.
I am Bishop. I came from an alternate future, 70 years from now, in which I was born.
Bishop told the professor.
I have something you need to know. Gambit had seemingly become an aged figure named the Witness, so-called because he had apparently witnessed the betrayal of the X-Men by one of their own members. He was also thought to be the last survivor of the X-Men. Upon joining the X-Men himself, I suspected Gambit to be the traitor.
Gambit and Rogue walked in the door. Gambit asks Rogue.
Did you have fun? That's one of my spots, now we share it with you.
Bishop stood up.
You the one who did all of this.
Gambit said.
I am good at what I do. Who are you?
My name is Bishop. I'm from the future. I was sent back to stop you.
Stop me from what?
Betraying and destroying the X-Men. Now you must die.
Gambit's eyes lit up a fiery red, his hands started glowing.
You're welcome to try.
I will do more than try. I was sent back for this.
Bishop was the only one from the future for the job, because of his powers, and he will not fall for Gambit's word tricks.
Give me your best shot.
Bishop and Gambit were at a standoff.
He can't be the traitor, future boy. He found my true love and I will not let nothing lie or betray her. No one will take this from me.
Gambit charged up some cards and threw them at Bishop. The cards hit him. Bishop powers. Observe energy redistribute with equal or greater force. Then he said,
Talk with your chest, Cajun boy.
Bishop inhaled a deep breath of air, popped his chest out, then shot a blast of energy he absorbed. Gambit jumped out the way of the blast. The blast almost hit him.
Okay, you see what it is? You can only hit me with whatever he hit you with.
Gambit got up, brushing his clothes.
Have a nice day.
Walking out the door with an irritated look.
I will find out who is the real traitor.
Rogue ran out the door behind him.
I believe you.
I know you do, my love, but I still have to find out why I have been set up. I'm devastated by important information from the future.
Still, Gambit found a way to be flirtatious with Rogue.
My top 5 ways of dying isn't being killed by betrayal. That's so bad that future boy have to come to the past to kill me. Yes, a kiss from you would be my number 1 way to go. What's more honorable than one last kiss?
No. Bobby's okay with not being able to touch me.
Lucky for me, I'm not Bobby.
Bishop rudely interrupt.
I'm not supposed to be telling you this. The way Gambit ripped Rogue out of Bobby's heart. In the future, Bobby kills his husband out of jealousy or fear, notifying the Sentinels of their location, killing Bobby and the underground network transport for mutants.
Gambit grabbed Rogue, pulled her close to him, looked her in the eyes for a kiss because he knew he had to go.
No, you can't kiss me, I might kill you.
I believe in you as well as you believe in me. You will not kill me, I can't take your love. My love.
Closing her eyes, her heart started beating faster as she could feel her blood rushing. moving her head into position to give Gambit a deep and passionate kiss. Her heart dropped, felt a chill ease up her spine and heat going down her body. Warped visions begin appearing, flashes in her mind projecting Gambit as a child. His family kicking him out his home and abandoning him. The visions was getting clear and coming faster and faster. She opened up her eyes to see Gambit dying. Quickly she pulled back. Gambit fell down to his knees, then he looked up. Rogue's heart was racing.
Oh oui, merci me, that was the best kiss of my life.
Rogue ran inside crying.
I didn't know I had that much of an effect on her. La voix to me mercy.
To be continued.